Well, what's good, YouTube? Going back here with another video after a long winter break, as well as trying to fit in all uni assignments before I go back. This video is about Salamangreat and the Thunder Dragon matchup against Salamangreat, which is surprisingly not very easy. If they go first, win the die roll, you're most likely going to be facing at least 2 negations, if not some hand traps and Call by the Graves. All very difficult cards for us to deal with. So I've kind of got some replays here today to show some variants and some ways we can just basically lock this deck out of playing the game, as well as some generic outs that pure builds can use. So this isn't just specifically for, one style of Thunder Dragon. I'm first going to start off with the Invoked variant. So in Invoked we have the ability to make Kaliga. Let me just get up Kaliga here. So Kaliga says, if a player's monster's effect attempts to activate, then that player's monster's effects can activate for the rest of the turn while it's on the field. So, you look at Salamangreat and look at how they start. Usually with Debugger to search for Gazelle. Or they open Gazelle, which also needs to activate to special summon. So if they see a Kaliga, they have to start by sending Gazelle. And then they still cannot recur their Roar or their Rage or the Fusion of Fire because you've locked them out of the effect, because they have to use monster effects to get to the board they need to. They can't use spells, they can't use traps. It's not like other decks where you can sort of just use generic extenders. It's not like a Sky Striker. They can play around it. But Salamangreat have a big problem with this, and I think it's, pretty brutal. So this is my post-Savage Strike list, which is kind of what I'm talking about mostly, and what I'm preparing for a lot coming towards YCS Dusseldorf, because Savage Strike is going to have this archetype at near full power, and we also get this good boy, Lone Wolf. Obviously, when he's normal summoned, you banish a monster from your hand, and banish one monster with the same type from your deck. So you could theoretically chain block your Darks or your Roars with Matrix. By running at the Chain Link 1 and 2. The other important thing to note is the activation is cost. So, if you have a Roar in hand, and you normal Lone Wolf, it will still activate and banish as cost. This will work under Skill Drain, it will work under Baguska, it will work under Impermanence, Widow Anchor, everything. Lone Wolf will still banish, and it will still give you cost, which is really, really good. It helps us actually play through multiple negations and floodgates. So, we're going to start off here. We get to go first. Alert. Oh my god. We draw into Brilliant Fusion and we banish Dark. So, we're just plussing cards at this point. This is just free advantage. So, Brilliant Fusion. In my build, we send Eclipse Wyvern, which will then banish Levianeer. So, we can obviously banish the Eclipse Wyvern to get back Levianeer to hand. Kind of like playing Light Sworn, except not for JD. Instead, we're going for our Chaos Boy here. Solar will then send Roar, and then we'll get the token, and we'll go off into our plays. If I didn't open Solar, I would probably have just Brillianted and used Lone Wolf here, and banished the Thunder. So, it would have still got to Sayuja. Usually, if you open Solar plus Brilliant, or Lone Wolf plus Brilliant Fusion, you are going to get to Sayuja. So we get Chaining 1, 2, obviously they can't respond, so we're just going off here. Banish the Collapse Serpent. We don't really need it at this point because we've got so much going on here. We've also got Lone Wolf off of the Special Summon, which is important to access one interesting card here, Alistair the Invoker of Madness. So obviously, 2 monsters with different types and different attributes, which is why Lone Wolf can abuse this card. And I think Thunder Dragon can also abuse it very easily. Because one like Thunder Dragon, or any dragon with a different attribute, aka what I did in this point was Sayuja and Lone Wolf, equals Invoker of Madness. And then we can Thunder Dragon Fusion, which counts as a fusion summon, which means we get Invoker, Pitch, and then we get Invocation. So we get Kaliga. So this is... He's staring down at this point 2 Colossus and Kaliga. 2 of them are boosted in defense, and we just got a Titan sitting here as a body. If I had a vanilla Thunder Dragon, I would have made 3 Colossus Kaliga, which would... Yeah, have fun. You can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! So obviously he can't really do anything. He normals Gazelle, realizes he can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! And just scoops. So, Floodgates, guys! 2019, doesn't stop. Just normal border pass. That's good versus this deck. This is a replay of me going second. remember correctly. Actually, let me double check this. Yes, going second. Just to replay me going second. Oh, this isn't good. So he goes first, obviously. Foxy excavates. You can only add like any of the Salamangreat cards, which is good. It's not like Rafale for hire, which can add anything. So he gets the Fennec. This is out in Dark Neostorm. It kind of does the same, similar thing to Gazelle. It's just another free body for level 3, but this is for like those which are destroy a battle or card effects. So it has some interesting application. And also, it's got this nice application here with the Salamangreat normal spell. So you can search Fusion of Fire with this, which is something to know. So, normal things here, Gazelle, Veilinx. This isn't chain blockable. People will say this is chain blockable, but it's not. If you link summon and you do Veilinx, you can Ash the Veilinx before Gazelle. But I still don't think that's a correct play. Just because Gazelle is the one you want to hit because they're just going to hit so much. So he's already got his Infernity Barrier and his Infernity Break. Well, fun game. And then we go into the Reincarnation Zodiac Link summoning. So he goes for Heat Leo here and double Heat Leos. I think this was quite decent for him because he has Rage. And Rage means he can pop free. So if I was playing Altergeist here and I just set free Meluseek, and he just flips Rage, he gets the pop free. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, that's pretty rough for me to deal with. So I'm facing one negate. Luckily, there's nothing in his hand. And then our Infernity Break here. So just do generic combos. Obviously I know he's under the Veilinx, so he's going to prevent destruction with this, and he's got one negate. I didn't go too deep because I feel like he was fishing for something heavy with this. Like Thunder Dragon Fusion or something which will recur resources, so I can't win, basically. So I'm trying to play slow. So 2 Colossus, and I'm abusing Heat Leo Zone here because it's not Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight Wolf would get back the monster here, but Heat Leo doesn't get it. So he does his Infernity Break, fun times, so I just prevent destruction. And I think what he tried to do here was keep Veilinx for his field spell, because the field spell is very important to protect. Because he knows he can recur this turn. He knows I'm not going to OTK. So I just try and bait it out, really. Try to use Titan and get into popping the Sanctuary so that, you know, I can actually play. But he had Veilinx, and I got rid of the Raw set, so he has to recur that again. Just because he has to make a choice between the Negate now and the Fusion of Fire if he wants to send it. But some builds don't even play Fusion of Fire, but he does. So he's left with triple Colossus, Titan, and he just Foxies, and at this point he doesn't really have much. You can still make a board though, like with Gazelle, Spiny, Stalio, which is really annoying to deal with. This one just bounces our stuff and makes it really hard. So he gets this back off the effect and then gets back this from Sunlight Wolf, which I think is a good plan. So here I just banish the Thunder Dragon Fusion, but he just ashes it, which is sad. But, you know, we did this as a bait. This is a bait and response sort of deal. But at this point, I know he can't really do anything, so I'm just going to force battle phase, because, you know, there's no battle-based traps. They're mostly playing around you making a response, and I had a board, so I just continue with my board. I forced a Rage, I just prevent destruction, and I just grind out the Veilinxes. This is something really important. Once they're out of Veilinxes, it's really hard. And then I just kind of flex on him a bit here. Get rid of the Raw through this means, because it banishes when it leaves the field, if they use the effect. And he just opens Ash and scoops. Let's go into the grind game. So he went seconds. This was after siding. Ash's Brilliant Fusion, sad days. You know, just do Thunder Dragon play. I could have normal summoned here and made the link, but it's better for me to abuse the Raw in hand and then just dig deeper, because I know at this point he's ashed. I'm free to go. And then I just make standard 2 Colossus Titan with Matrix in hand. Which is actually kind of difficult for them to deal with sometimes. But you got to be careful, because they can play this engine as well. The Speed Droid engine really, like in the OCG, could just really make plays, and they can keep going. The Pancratops is a hard thing to deal with here, because he can always chain block me. But I try and force it here because I want to pop the Valence. And I know he's gonna chain block this. I know he is, but I want him to force this effect because I don't want this to be used as link material. So I just get it off the field and then prevent destruction, get a search, which is great for me. That's good. Further on, just same thing again. If you notice, the Salamangreat plays are very generic. There's nothing too special about what they actually do. It's just, oh, I made the MX Saber Invoker and then I bounce, and yeah, it's just very linear. I don't find it especially creative. So he sits on the Baguska, which is their annoying floodgate to deal with. So I go for Hawk, and I get Duo here, because I need to get enough bodies on field before I even resolve Thunder Dragon Fusion. So I just go for Unicorn, which is the best out for Baguska. Getting straight to Unicorn will just spin the Baguska and more degeneracy. Because it's just sent to the graveyard. It could literally be from anywhere. It could be even from extra deck to graveyard, I'm pretty sure. So on detachment, Gazelle effect triggers and he gets Gazelle set up. And also Sunlight Wolf to recur the Ash Blossom. Fun! Just recur hand traps. I wonder if any other deck can do this. So I just sit on the Titan and I just, well, get ashed. But you know what can we do? Just at this point we're just grinding him down, making sure he has nothing left. And he draws Reborn, and I think he has a play here. Because he just uses the Pot of Avarice. Could you imagine if just Hercules base did this? No. So here we go, into the Mirage Celeb again, bounce, again, the same linear plays, and in circle. He's playing the Code Talker variant, we don't even have this version, but it's really good because they can get 2 counter traps live. And then you can't even red reboot, but I'm not too worried about that unless we get that structure deck. This was a cool play. I like this because you put Heatleo to shuffle back the Brilliant Fusion, which is a brick at this point because I'm only running Seraphonite. But actually, why is Seraphonite in there? Oh, he ashed it, never mind. But he shuffles it back. It could technically be a brick at this point because if I open it, I can't really use it for anything. So it's still a decent play. And then he closed my board with Heatleo, which was frustrating. He could have probably, if he had like another Baguska, sat on a Baguska. I think he should have sat on a Baguska here again. But for some reason he just passed his turn. Thanks. I just recur everything back here. Abused the zone again with Heatleo. And then I forced the Phalanx. And then we use Battle Phase to clear everything. Also another thing to note, when you clear these Salamangreats, make sure you clear the correct ones. I clear Jack. I leave this one on the field because of the recursion effect. If I leave Foul on the field, he's just going to have 2 bodies and just be able to start making plays again. But with just this, he can't do anything. It does nothing on the field. So then I start popping things which are disgusting. So I pop Will because it's part of his grind ground. And then same with Sanctuary. So then I sit under a Colossus afterwards because Duo won't do anything. And then he just leaves. This is about Mechaba Harbinger. So this is just... It's just the ceiling of my variant. So we open the Thunder Dragon, dump the Raw, and this is Saluja already. We don't care about linking this off at this point because we've summoned it, so we can even reborn it off of Hawk if we want to. And then, oh my lord, we just open Brilliant Fusion. We've got Alistair. We could even allure at this point as well. I'm pretty sure I do allure after the Levianeer, so we don't draw into it. Yep. And then just keep going, combos. Gold Sock for the Matrix, so we get another one, and then Saluja Special, get another Colossus. And then we go into Lanthornicus, Mechaba, Wyvern gets that, and then we link these off again for Invoke of Madness, Banish Free, Reborn, get the rank 8. So he's sitting under 2 Negates and 2 Colossus turn 1. Mechaba's really brutal because you can banish the Gazelle straight away, and then they don't even have Graveyard set up. You could do the same thing with the Spiny as well, so if they want to use this to actually extend their plays, they can't. You just banish it, and then because of that, Gazelle can't trigger. But he opens Gazelle here. I just know at this point that it's over, so I just Gazelle, and that's it. This is the most ridiculous duel of my life. I'll get into that in a minute. This one first. This is the power of the Invoked variant, I think, going second. Purgatrio. Obviously, we can banish your opponent's monsters, so why not going second? Just banish their Salamangreats in the grave and get Purgatrio out to wipe their board. So, Opens up the Stratos, and oh god, this hand's just kind of nuts. I don't like this card though. Mia kind of is weak. I don't think this is very powerful compared to the other Salamangreats. It can recur itself a lot, but it doesn't really do anything on the field. It's just sitting here as a level 2. I don't think that's great, you know. He makes the Flame Administrator with it, but it's just an attack boost. It doesn't really do anything to the board. He has the Infernity Break and Barrier, so I know this, and I know that Solar's a bad normal summon here, so I just go straight for Lone Wolf, just in case there's other things. And then I reboot, because I want to be able to get into the Purgatrio here. Because Lone Wolf will give me access to Invoker of Madness, whereas Solar will not. And then we get into Brilliant Fusion here, so this is just kind of disgusting at this point. So we Brilliant Fusion, get this out, Eclipse Wyvern Sand, Invoker of Madness, then we get Fusion for Titan. At this point, because there's no point me going for Colossus here. No point. We can OTK. And then we got do Purgatrio. I did mess this up. I could have actually just literally Alistair'd here, boost this, attack everything, and then attack with Titan for game. But I kind of got greedy. I was like, you know what, let's normal the Alistair and just go for it. We've got the Seraph Knight summon. And then make Kaliga. Because I want to see if they can break the board afterwards. I want to see how their grind game works. So Purgatrio, obviously, we banish the Veiling, stop of Invocation. So they can't use it to prevent destruction. And we just clear their board. And Titan's sitting there, so have fun. Yeah, very difficult for them to deal with Purgatrio. So he uses Rage, because he has no other play, really. I feel like he could have gone into the... Actually, no, he couldn't have gone into that. Most people are only playing 2 Veilings, so they can't Reincarnation link the Veilings. So he had no play available. Actually, you know what? I think he did have a play available. If that was me playing that Salamangreat deck, I would have probably went Gazelle, sends the Spine. Actually, no, you can't because you're in the Kaliga. That's the problem. Because of Kaliga, it forces this. So he has to do this to send to grave and pop that, but he still can't do anything. So he just scoops. This is Sayuja boosted Kaliga. This is just another example of discussing this. This is a weird 60 card there, and he just plays every Salamangreat. I mean, if you want to test all the cards out, why not? So I get into Invoker of Madness through... Where is he? Where's the good boy? Oh, we didn't even use him. We'll just use Brilliant Fusion. Then we just get to Sayuja and chaining 1-2. Big hand. We've got a really fat hand here. Just do everything we want. Fusion, Titan, and there's Kaliga. And I just sit on this. Reason I sat on this is because I know Salamangreat can't really OTK very well, especially if Colossus is in defense, and they got to bounce something back. And there's the only thing they could try and do is like get through Sayuja, but it's still difficult because they're under one monster effect and they're under Colossus. So I don't even know if they could actually really Fusion and Fire OTK very easily, even if you run it. And the Living is there for next turn just in case he does blow out the board. And then I have chain blocks with a pretty fat graveyard. And he just realizes that and scoops. Let's go on to the ridiculous duel before we do the last one. So this one, he opens the circle. I've got a pretty good hand here, you think? Open evenly, and Lone Wolf and the Wyvern Burster and Thunder Dragon, like, quite a good hand. But the thing is, evenly matched can be negated by this. This thing just negates everything. So I kind of like using evenly just to force it, which is what I actually do. I'm pretty sure here. I just fill my grave. I want to see if he responds. What I do here is actually, this is quite a funny play. I banish the Collapse Serpent to crash into it because I know he wants to keep it alive. So he prevents destruction, which is kind of a misplay by him. Because I want him to prevent destruction here, so I can use Titan later. Then I evenly match, and then he roars it. And I know that's going to happen. I want to get through that negate. Then I get Lone Wolf, and I can start my board setup. Except this is sitting here, Lost Wind. So I had to play with this face down in Knowledge. But here we go, we used the Colossus. And because he only had Foxy, I mean, he could have used Sunlight Wolf. I don't know why he didn't. So just recur the Foxy. I guess it doesn't do anything at this point, because he's got Gazelle. But he could have used that. So again, I abused their zones, and then you just... Yeah, I didn't get Invoker of Madness here, which would have really ruined him. If I got Invoker of Madness here, this would have probably been game, because I would have had Kaliga and just... He would have just been outgrinded. But this game keeps going on. I'll kind of let it speak for itself after this gets lost-winded. So he gets the recursion. Keeps going. Armageddon Knight. Oh, fun times. Here we go. transcode to revive the Sunlight Wolf, and then beats through and just leaves me with the Colossus because why not? I don't know why he did this. I don't think this was very good. He's kind of running out of his extra deck though, if I'm honest. So then we just keep trying to recur back resources. It's kind of the push and pull at this point. The Roar on the Thunder Dragon Fusion was an interesting one. I kind of was forcing this. I wanted this to happen, and I knew he would take it. And this was, this hurt. This hurt more than it should have done at this point. But again, we just abuse Battle Phase to keep our resources. And I used Roar here because I've used both my Thunder Dragon Fusions. I want to be able to recur them. So he gets Lost Wind off of that. I know he's got Lost Wind, but I need 2 Colossus, and then he fucking round boys me. So, you know what? It didn't even matter at that point. He round boyed me. He still can't get the OTK though. He has to go for this, and this is the thing. If you face these non-fusion of fire builds where they just don't play the one fusion of fire, I don't know why, but they don't, and you just get to grind. So I'm sitting on a round boy, and I'm thinking, okay, can we out this? And then, you know, we just play 2-card combo because he's only got Lost Wind, and I don't think he was interested in doing that. So I forced a Lost Wind. I force it because I know he's gonna have to banish it now. And I get dark with that. Yeah, we get kind of a board here. Like a boosted Colossus is decent. I pop the Flame Administrator obviously before going into that. So then the grind continues. And I thought at this point, you know, this is looking decent. I've got a Colossus again. Surely you can't get too much advantage. And then he starts shuffling back to Sunlight Wolves to Reincarnation Link and just get everything going again and again. He gets Cerberus, and then he gets this, and then this comes out, and then he... Oh my god, and now he has 3 cards left in his extra deck. But he's got... Actually, it's a kind of dirty co-link block here, because Phoenix, Cerberus, Sunlight Wolf, they're all co-linked. So, can't be judged for battle or card effects. So this was kind of actually rough. I didn't like looking at this. This was a dead card at this point. So I get back to Thunder Dragon Fusion and do that. And then the Infernity breaks me. So he pops 2. Because here's the thing. If he has grind game here, I can't actually kill him after this point. So I banished 2. This was really kind of luck sacking for me here. So I chain these as 1, 2. So I get the Hawk Shuffle after the search. And then we drew Super Poly. This card is such a sacky blowout versus them. And it's so essential. I always think this M1 Chimera in the side deck is really good. Really, really good versus them. Because you can take out their board. You can leave them without the ability to use their counter traps or their other traps against you. So you just completely stop them from playing. And then you have this just big fat beat stick to just, you know, win the game with, which is what I did here. So that was pretty mad. And then we're going to the last duel here. This is one I was thinking later in the theory crafting, because I was wondering how we actually play versus this going second. And I think Gamma is an incredibly good option. Really, really good. You just got to use it at the perfect time. You've got to know when to go for that Gamma. And the advantage we want to stop is using Gazelle, because Gazelle will give them access to their entire deck. Debug gets them the engine to get into this, but this is the key point. If you get Gazelle on the summon, you can just Gamma and they can't play. And then he anti-spells. I don't know why he played anti-spell. And then we just start playing here. And this was rough. The Veiler was pretty harsh. But it's okay because he has nothing. He really has nothing. He's got anti-spell, Cool Buy, which is rough, but he's only got this and he can't get too much set up. So he opens Monster Reborn, but he can't use it. The anti-spell. Backfire. I don't like this as a floodgate. Like, this kind of hurts him more than it hurts me at this point. Yeah, and we start just going off here now. At this point, he's just kind of waiting for me to get enough, and then just realizes it and scoops. Because I got Levianeer in hand as well, so I'm just... Yeah, this is not looking good for him. So I just special this and just finish the game. So yeah, we're looking... The main things we're looking out for is to hit the Gazelle, and also a bunch of other stuff. So, let me just bring this up here. This is... Oh, it's on the wrong screen. That's not good. Uh-oh. Okay, we'll just leave it like this. So it's called How to Beat the Salami. It's quite a funny name we've come up with, Salamangreat, just call it Salami. So Kaliga's really good, same as Mechaba. Using their zones, if you know they can't recur, is really good. Banish the Veilings, if they run out of Veilings, you're good. Clear the field spell, and they can't recur with Sunlight Wolf. And be patient and try to force them the gates. You can be patient versus this deck. If you know they can't OTK you, as long as you've got stuff in defense, you're fine. Like, I had another replay I was going to show, which had Book of Eclipse, where they eclipse me, and it doesn't mean anything. It does nothing to me. Because they can't OTK through it, because all my fusions are in defense, and Violet Chimera can't beat over them. Well, it can beat over them, but it can only beat over Titan, and they can't OTK through it. So I would get a draw 3 off of it. So I don't even think it's very good. Um, this is kind of, I'll show you a Salamangreat list I've been looking at. This is kind of what I've been running for Salamangreats. I've been testing them myself. This is kind of what you're looking to face. This is what you will face, most likely. A list like this, with triple Call By, triple Ash, triple Impermanence, because you can play these easily. One of the Pot of Avarice and the Fusion of Fire is just really, really good. I've been playing 2 of this counter trap, but I could change these ratios around if I wanted to, like play more Falco for more rank 4 players, because this deck makes Dweller really easily, so rest in peace Burning Abyss, and also Baguska, so yeah, have fun versus this. This is very brutal, and also this deck can also main Rivalry and Gozen. I've stuck it in the side to test it out, and I think it's actually very disgusting. So yeah, this is how to beat Salamangreat. Hopefully we can. Hopefully you enjoy this.